I remember the exact moment I realized I had been disappearing, and he hadn't even noticed. It wasn't dramatic, no screaming, no slammed doors, just silence. The kind that slowly replaces who you are. At first, it didn't feel like disrespect. It felt like love. We met at a friend's birthday party. He wasn't loud or charming like the others. He stood in the corner, watching everything like he already understood the room. When he spoke to me, it felt different. Calm, focused, intentional. Like I mattered. And that's how it started. Slowly, quietly. The first few months were perfect. He remembered small things, my favorite coffee, the way I hated driving at night, the songs I used to play on repeat. He made me feel seen. And I didn't realize how dangerous that feeling could be. Because the moment someone makes you feel seen, you start trusting them to define who you are. It changed so gradually, I couldn't even pinpoint when it started. He would make small comments. "You talk a lot when you're nervous. I think your friends don't really listen to you. You're better when you're calm." They didn't feel like insults. They felt like observations, helpful ones. So I adjusted. I spoke less. I filtered myself. I became easier to be around. For him. The first strange moment happened on a Tuesday night. We were sitting on the couch. I was telling him about something funny that happened at work. He didn't respond. At first, I thought he didn't hear me, so I repeated it. Still nothing. Just silence. Then he said, without even looking at me, "You don't have to fill every silence. It's exhausting." It hit me harder than I expected. Because I wasn't trying to fill silence. I was trying to connect. I laughed it off, told myself I was overthinking. But something shifted. After that, I started paying attention to how often he didn't respond. How often my words just landed nowhere. Like I was speaking into a void. And the weirdest part? He never seemed angry. Never raised his voice. He just withdrew. Like I wasn't worth the effort of reaction. And somehow, that hurt more. It didn't stop there. It evolved. Subtle at first, then impossible to ignore. He started correcting me in front of people. Not aggressively, just small things. "Oh, that's not exactly what happened. I think you're remembering it wrong." Always said with a calm smile, like he was helping, and I would freeze, because I wasn't sure if he was right. I began doubting my own memory, second-guessing simple things. Did that really happen the way I said? Was I exaggerating? Was I wrong? That question started living in my head, constantly. 5 months in, I stopped sharing stories, stopped expressing opinions, because every time I did, there was a chance I'd be corrected or ignored. And somehow, silence felt safer than being dismissed. The escalation was quiet, almost invisible from the outside. But inside, it felt like I was shrinking, piece by piece. He didn't tell me who to be. He just made it uncomfortable to be myself. I remember one night, I was getting ready to go out with friends. I hadn't seen them in weeks. I was excited, nervous, alive. I walked into the living room and asked him what he thought of my outfit. He looked at me, paused, then said, "It's a little loud, don't you think?" That's all. No explanation, no emotion, just enough to plant doubt. I went back to the bedroom, changed, then changed again, and again, until I felt invisible, safe, acceptable. I canceled on my friends that night. told them I wasn't feeling well. And technically, I wasn't lying. That's when it really started. The isolation. Not forced, not demanded. Chosen. By me. Because it felt easier than questioning everything. 10 months in, I barely recognized myself. My voice was softer. My opinions shorter. My presence smaller. And the worst part? He never once told me to change. He just made it clear in 100 tiny ways that the version of me I used to be was too much. The moment everything broke didn't feel like a breaking point. It felt like a question, a simple one, but it changed everything. It happened on a Sunday morning. We were sitting at the kitchen table. No phones, no distractions, just quiet. The kind of quiet I had trained myself not to interrupt. He was reading something. I was staring at my coffee, trying to decide if I should speak, if it was worth the risk. And then I said it. Softly, almost like I was asking permission. Do you respect me? He didn't answer right away. Didn't even look up. Just turned the page. Calm. Unbothered. Then, after a few seconds, he said, I don't think that's the right question. My chest tightened, because suddenly I wasn't sure what the right question was. I asked again, this time louder, clearer. Do you respect me? He sighed, finally looked at me, and for the first time, I felt like I was being studied, not seen, analyzed. I think you're confusing respect with validation, he said. You want me to agree with you. That's not respect. Something about the way he said it made me feel small again, like I was asking for too much, like I didn't understand something obvious. But then, something unexpected happened. For the first time in months, I didn't immediately accept his answer. I sat there, letting the silence stretch, letting the discomfort build. And then I asked, do you think I deserve to be heard? That's when he hesitated, just for a second, but I saw it. And in that tiny pause, everything started to unravel. He leaned back in his chair, crossed his arms, and smiled. But it wasn't warm. It was calculated. Of course you deserve to be heard, he said. But that doesn't mean everything you say has value. There it was. Clear. Unfiltered. No soft edges. And something inside me shifted. Because for the first time, I wasn't confused. I wasn't questioning myself. I understood exactly what he meant. He didn't see me as an equal. Not really. I was someone to be managed, adjusted, refined. And suddenly, all those moments, the silence, the corrections, the subtle comments, they weren't random. They were consistent, intentional. 15 months. That's how long it took me to see it clearly. I looked at him, really looked this time, and instead of feeling small, I felt something else. Distance. Do you respect me? I asked again. Not for an answer, but to hear how it sounded now. He shrugged. I respect you in the ways that matter. That sentence should have confused me. A few weeks ago, it would have. I would have analyzed it, tried to understand it, adapted to it. But now, it just sounded empty. Because respect isn't selective. It's not conditional. It's not something you give in pieces. And I realized something terrifying. I had spent over a year trying to earn something that should have been there from the beginning. 20 minutes later, I was packing a bag. Not dramatically, not angrily, just quietly, like everything else. He didn't stop me, didn't ask where I was going, didn't try to fix anything. He just watched, like he was observing an outcome he had already predicted. And that hurt, but not in the way I expected. The hardest part wasn't leaving. It was what came after. The silence followed me, but this time, it felt different. At first, I thought I would miss him. The routine, the structure, the quiet control. But what I actually felt was withdrawal. Like I had been trained to question myself, and now, without him there to do it, my mind kept doing it for him. Every decision felt heavy. Every opinion felt uncertain. Even small things. What to wear, what to eat, what to say. I kept hearing his voice, not loudly, not clearly, just enough. You're overthinking. That's not quite right. You could say that better. And the worst part? It sounded like me now. Weeks passed, then months, and slowly, I started noticing something. The silence wasn't empty anymore. It was peaceful. I could finish my thoughts, speak without interruption, laugh without analyzing if it was too much. And one day, I told a story, out loud, to a group of people, without stopping, without correcting myself, without shrinking. And no one interrupted. No one corrected me. No one made me feel like I needed to adjust. They just listened. And that's when it hit me. Harder than anything else. I hadn't been asking for too much. I had just been asking the wrong person. 30 minutes into telling this story now, I still think about that question. Do you respect me? But if I could go back, I wouldn't ask him. I would ask myself. And I would listen very carefully to the answer.